What's going on, everybody? I am Goat. So this is going to be a very different video, kind of off schedule, off script. My hat's all fucked up. We're going to walk through the two cinematics I think that mean the most right now, okay? Because the dev stream was today, and I think honestly it was very telling for a couple of different reasons, but I really kind of want to go over this, okay? So I'm going to show you the Awakening trailer, so the intro trailer to the game, the intro cinematic, and then what the devs showed for the new War cinematic, okay? So we're going to step right into that, and then we're going to just cover this, okay? So, yeah, see you in a sec.
For generations you've slept. No purpose. No call to wake you. Grenier. Seeds from the ruins of the old war, swallowing colonies whole. But there's still hope. The Tenno. Monuments of an ancient warrior caste. Scattered across frail worlds. Together, they fought back. Bringing an end to an empire. Then they left. Forgotten. Like a dream. Wake up, Tenno. Wake up.
So damn, right? I mean, fucking damn. I mean, look at this. Look at this. One operator, okay, one operator versus this arena of sentience. There's some telling things in this cinematic, though, I really want to go over. First of all, between the initial cinematic of the game, massive spoilers, but you don't realize it until you play the game, right? So, but up to this point, if you've been watching my channel this entire time, then you're going to understand how many spoilers are actually in that initial cinematic. It's fucking insane how many are there. But secondly, the fact that there's some spoilers in this cinematic too for the second dream and more. But let's just kind of look at what we're seeing here, okay? So we go to this battle sequence, right? So here we see our operator seeing Nata, right? Who was the Lotus. Okay, just that look. But it's the same kid. The continuity from the initial cinematic of the game to here is awesome. I fucking love the fact that we've got a more refined kid from the original cinematic who is now truly a Tenno who's doing her thing, right? And then we jump into... Hold on, give me a second. This. The second dream. We jump into this massive spoiler of when she scoops you up and takes you over to the transference seat, the little reservoir, the orbiter reservoir for your kid, right? And you see, you see the Lotus here, right? Carrying you over. Now, I want you to pay close attention, though. Skin color, the whole shebang. I know there's light there, so it's going to make her look a little bit lighter. But I've seen people already in the forums, and people are already talking about who they think this next person is, right? So we go into this awesome battle sequence of Nova and Excalibur and Rhino, and I think it's awesome they put Nova in there because you don't see enough of Nova, in my opinion. But... there's a moment in this particular sequence that I think is fucking awesome, okay? And it's this. Hang on just a second. First of all, you see the Boltor doing his thing. I think it's pretty cool. But you see this. You'll notice, here's the operator, here's the Warframe. You'll see her start to come out. See her? It's that moment of transference, right? It's that moment of the operator stepping out of the Warframe to try to stop the damage. Now, granted, in game, your Warframe isn't destroyed. Is that something that could potentially change with the new war? I don't know, but this seems like a past flashback to a previous battle scene, right? So, but we see the operator pop out into, basically transfer directly into void mode, right? So we see her pop out and transfer into void mode. And then all of a sudden, out of void mode, and I mean hot butter knives this fucking hallway of crazy. Like the Grineer are like, aw, hell. I want that amp, by the way. This constant beaming blast of death that actually does that kind of damage, just melts enemies. This is where the forums have gone nuts. This right here. People are saying that this is Lotus. I disagree. I think this is Margulis. I really do. If you look at the kid's reaction, I don't care about the room, like the room is a ship. I think this is Margulis because Margulis, like Lotus is a mimic, right? Like that's what the game has taught us to this point, is that Lotus is a mimic sentient. She was specifically designed to mimic Margulis to a point, but there is a different appearance here. Slightly, but there is a different appearance, in my opinion. I could be wrong, I could be totally wrong, but this, I think that this is Margulis because the telling thing is this. Lotus, the entire time, has basically tucked these kids away in like little cryopods, like these little cryopods that are transference pods at the reservoir, right? So the kids have never really had major direct contact with Lotus, just in their heads. Margulis had direct contact with the kids, but look at this telling feature of this kid, just scared to death, clinging for life, clinging for security, and Margulis is that point that these kids had, right? But then we pop out to the memory, back into present day, into this, and that is the telling thing for me. You see all these sentience, all this craziness, right? And just give it a second, because all of a sudden this kid's about to break loose on all these fucking sentience, and that's the telling look for me right there. That's like that moment Nata goes, wait, I helped raise you. I helped guide you. And you're about to blast me. Why? Now, does anybody believe that a single operator can take this on? Seriously. I don't give a damn how much health you got and what fucking amp you have. You are not taking out that many fucking sentients with one operator. Granted, would it be a fun-ass fight to try? Oh, yeah. Death becomes us over and over again. It would be fucking fun, especially as long as it didn't reset every time. If you just like did kind of like during the the second dream or the war within, or even the sacrifice, where you just kind of pop into the little void death thing and then you pop back in and continue fighting. But I think that is telling as hell, because this is either finally face off with Nata and finish her off, or switch her back. But the other question really falls into the previous, the previous sequence here. Is the Unum going to come into play? Because that's something that I really haven't touched into so much. But is the Unum, is the time travel, temporal displacement thing that is out there, is that going to come into play? Are we going to bring Margulis back and Margulis replace the Lotus? Replace Nata? Or is this just a memory? I don't know. There's so much to go. There's so much involved with this. There really is. Now, with all that information being said, we're going to look at this screen here because I've got to change over because there is one thing that I do want to touch on. Ah, piss. That's not what I was trying to do at all. Pause. Oh, for God's sakes. Why is everything fucking highlighted? Thank you so much, you piece of shit. Do. So, the dev stream did give the information of, I want to see. Cool, the new war. Yep. Okay, so actually we will swap over to this. I don't know if we're going to get sound from it. I hope not. Okay, no, I don't want to watch the trailer. So this is on Warframe.com, okay? This is on Warframe.com, so cool. Let me see, Warframe.com. The devs did talk about Caliban. Caliban, the new Warframe coming out. He's a sentient Warframe. But they didn't really go in depth as to what he is. They do here. But there's a whole lot of question about what the fuck is going on with that. So that's a whole different thing in itself. But they show his abilities. He's got a scythe weapon, okay? Which is awesome. I love the fact that his weapon is going to be a scythe weapon. They're also releasing Haro Prime with the Scourge Prime, so that's cool. But they didn't discuss anything with Necromex, anything with Railjack. It was very, very, very empty and hollow, but full at the same time, because at least they gave us this. So the story so far, we already know, okay? Unite unlikely allies. Well, you'll notice in the first quest, or in that first video that I showed, that the Tenno are fighting the Dax, and I've actually had a few people privately question why they would do that if all of a sudden we're working with Teshin. Well, if you remember in the War Within, you're not working with Teshin until the end. Teshin is secretly doing a kind of a transference bolt walkthrough of how to use your operator, but you actually have to kind of do a mock fight with Teshin and gently beat him, for lack of a better way to put it, to go through and beat the Kuva Queen. But the problem is that the Dax are Orokin soldiers. Okay, they are 100% Orokin soldiers. Okay, first and foremost, so they have to honor their code to the Orokin, and the Kuva Queen was in control of the Broken Scepter, which was the Kuva Scepter, which was an Orokin relic, or an Orokin weapon, or an Orokin level of control. Okay, so with all that being said, Teshin had to obey, which is why the Tenno in the original cinematic are fighting the Dax, because they were obeying the Orokin Empire, and that was when the Tenno were basically trying to take down the Orokin Empire. So there you go. So, but unite unlikely allies. So we know Teshin's on our side. We've got Call, and then we've got, I forget that fucking guy's name. It starts with a V. I can't remember. Victus or something like that. Viso. Sorry, Viso. Victus. Yeah, that's a thing. So we've got this guy. This was all from the New War walkthrough that I did during Tennocon. I'll put a link in the video description, just so if you want to go back and look at that trailer as well. But it says, witness a new chapter unfold, repel sentient enemies, and Tenno reinforcements. Interesting. Prepare for war. If you hope to survive the new war, you will need a full arsenal of the Tenno at your disposal. Complete the necessary quests. Here's the kicker. for anybody wanting to know what you have to have in order to play this quest, okay? You have to have completed basically all of the quest stuff, okay? So for that is where, and I'm sorry for no sound, I just turned it off because I didn't want it getting in the way of the trailers. So here, we'll go to sound really quick, because having just me talking isn't always pleasant, let's be honest. Sound effects, we'll just do minimal for now. There, just minimal. Okay, cool, thanks for that, love it. Okay, so, Questline. So this is the story quests. So basically what they're saying is that this is about to get a name change, by the way. This is, we'll go through it in a minute. But basically you have to have the War Within, Chains of Horror, the Apostasy Prologue, the Sacrifice. And then you have to have all 3 of these done. So you have to have all those done. So I think this is about to be called like the Prelude to War or something of that sort. So it is what it is, right? So, yeah. So that's what they're saying. But here's Caliban. Caliban is interesting as hell. Split sentient cores, but a Warframe. And it's like he's a mix of so many other Warframes. Like he's got kind of the sentient shoulder thing, but he's got Warframe arms, Warframe legs. His helmet kind of has a general appearance of Revenant's helmet, but also mag. I mean, very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. So he's the sentient Warframe, but here's his abilities, and this is where it gets really, really weird to me, okay? His abilities go as such. Razor Gyre. So become a spinning vortex of death. Hold fire to accelerate the Maelstrom, increasing damage, and then target an enemy to dash towards them. Hitting enemies inflicted with sentient wrath creates a destructive blast. This sounds like Revenant. To me, this sounds kind of like Revenant. This sounds like a mix of like... I mean, this sounds like a mix of like Eurelian Revenant, honestly. It sounds like a mix of the, I can't remember the name of the ability, but the big pooling ability, the tidal wave, or the tidal, whatever the hell, tidal force, or whatever it is, coupled with like maybe Revenant's Reeve. Okay, Sentient Wrath. Smashed to the ground, sending out a wave of destruction. Those not killed by the initial blast are helplessly lifted into the air to suffer damage for a short time. It sounds like Rhino's Stomp. Very much so. And I'm not knocking this, by the way, just so you know. But that sounds very much like Rhino's Stomp. Lethal Progeny. The call on Caliban's sentient aspect to produce up to 3 Conculus comrades to fight by his side and repair his shields when not in combat. That sounds kind of like Necros. To me, except that you're calling in sentience, which is fucking awesome. Hopefully they're good. Hopefully they, you know, kind of grow with the enemy, and or at least with your ability strength, they become stronger. But it sounds very much like Necros. It sounds very much like Necros, and I'm fine with that. Actually, I'm really fine with that. As long as the color scheme isn't as stupid as Necros, that would bother me a lot. Fusion Strike. This is the one that sounds interesting as hell to me, okay? Very interesting. So, Fusion Strike converts 3 beams of raw energy upon a single target, causing a massive reactive blast. The fallout from the blast will strip the armor of all enemies that touch it. This sounds like a mix of Wisps 4, which is Solo Ray, and then Nixus 2, which is Psychic Bolts. This sounds like Psychic Bolts with Solo Ray Punch. Then Psychic Bolt's Armor Strip. It sounds very cool. And then the passive ability is Adaptive Armor. Allies within affinity range gain increased resistance to all types of damage they are currently taking. So basically, it's like applying some measure of adaptation. So I want to know, honestly, truthfully, in my opinion, because I've gotten to where I'm using adaptation with certain frames, I want to know if adaptation actually stacks with this or if it'll literally just do nothing. So I'm very curious about that one. So very cool. And then, of course, people always on the fashion frame side of things, you've got You got something very interesting here. You've got Mesa Prime and Volt Prime specialty pack coming soon. So, and it even says Mesa and Volt. So, sentient themed skins for Mesa and Volt. But so there's going to be a New War supporter pack coming soon. But as you saw in that video, it's going to be releasing on December 15th. So I'm going to do my damnedest to release the video on December 15th. But here's the kicker. It's not going to be a one-part video. And I can tell you exactly why. And this is Brozyme. This is a guy that I watch, but for some reason Twitch is still not showing it, so I have to show this. And I know it's fuzzy, so I'm sorry. But it says the new war requires several hours to complete. You will be able to pause the game, and your progress will be saved between missions. Prepare wisely. Loadout access will be limited and require. Will be limited, and regular Warframe activities will not be available until this quest is completed. The new war contains sequences of violence, frightening situations involving teens, and depictions of emotional abuse. It is intended for mature audiences. Now, I have not watched Brozyme's video, but I know Brozyme typically does. He typically does live stream on Twitch reactions to the stuff, and obviously I wasn't awake for that. I set my alarm clock wrong, so I'm stupid. So I'm doing all this after the fact. But he usually does live stream stuff, and he usually posts it to YouTube directly after his stream. So that's why it was so fuzzy, because it was still doing the HD processing, which is fine. But I just kind of scrolled through, and when I saw that, I read through it, and I was like, what the fuck? It just happened to be where I stopped in the video, so I just kind of stopped there and was like, wait, what? Eh? Oh, several hours. This sounds exactly like what I was hoping for. So here's the kicker, though. Okay. Like I've been warning people, you've got to have the questline done. But the other thing is this, okay? And I noticed this after I backtracked, okay? I have to find it. There was a thing that I saw because I backtracked once I saw that window. Is this it? Maybe it was forward. No, that's Haro. There was something else that they showed of what you were going to have completed, I thought. Caliban, hey. New War Prerequisites. Yeah, I backtracked. Okay, New War Prerequisites. You must own a Railjack, first of all. So my baby account is good there. Here's where it's not so good. You must own a Necromech. So I'm debating right now, because I now have basically 2 weeks to try to farm and fully rank a Necromech. I don't know if that's going to be enough time, considering other things that I'm doing. So I don't know. Figure that out. Because, I mean, you're talking about building standings with Necroloid, plus running bounties through the vaults, and I just don't know if I want to dedicate that much time for the baby account. Excuse me, I have a sneeze brewing. So we'll see about running the baby account. The baby account may come a little bit later. I was wanting to do them back to back, basically. Do it with my main account, just to see what a legendary account can, you know, and my playstyle, how it handles through that, because I'm not like big Barney Badass in the game. We all know this. I'm just me. Oh my god, my sinuses. But I wanted to, as soon as I finished, immediately jump into the baby account and then start doing that. But considering I need a Necromech, now I get to weigh the option of, because I'm pretty sure I've got figured out, I don't know how limited the access is going to be to your normal stuff. Like, are we going to get locked out of the arsenal? Do we have to have only 1 or 2 frames available? So I really kind of need to weigh my options on what the hell I'm going to personally use that I figure is going to be able to be survivable through all this. So yeah, and truthfully, as bonkers as this sounds, considering the way he's built and what his base design is, I'm actually debating about Excalibur Umbra. I really am. I don't think I'm going to do that, but the debate is in there in my head. But this is going to be like the War Within. Once you start it, you're stuck doing this bitch until you're done. Yep. So this is going to be a dedicated thing. So, I mean, and when they say hours of gameplay, I'm guessing at least 3. At least, I mean, that would be the minimum. It's a lot of stuff. Here's the thing that I do want to touch into before I get off of here. This is what I noticed. This broke my fucking head because I'm trying to wrap my head around this. You remember when I said a while ago, between Era, listening to Era talk, you know, watching Era get blasted by the fucking, by Lotus and the Tenno, and then Era coming back after Nata has been swapped back over as her normal sentient self, and then the Maker, Era acting very weird when Nata was talking about how the Tenno destroyed him, right? So, talking about these two quests right here, right? So we're talking about Era, and we're talking about the Maker. So this, you see Era get all fucked up, and then all of a sudden Era's there again, has a few sentients around him, and trying to talk to Nata about keep going. And then this one was the final trailer, basically showing, you know, them talking about Nata releasing the light and so on. But Nata questions, I remember you being destroyed. And he said, well, you don't remember everything. Okay. If that's the case, why does Era need a frame? Because this is saying Era's twisted masterpiece, a true hybrid of Warframe and sentient, raised from the wreckage of the old war to carve a swathe or a swath through the new. Okay, so here's my question, and I will leave it at this and let you guys make up your own damn minds. Because that's really where this game, that's what this game is about. Why does Era need a Warframe, first of all? Okay, second of all, my lingering thought in the background has been that Era was rebuilt by either Ballas or Olive, but I'm going to go with Ballas because Ballas was part of the creation of the Sentients, also part of the creation of Warframe, so he has knowledge of both sides of this. But although at the end of the sequence of events, we see Ballas having control over, we see Era having Ballas on a leash, which is fine. But at the same time, we also see that Era looks very uncomfortable when questioned about being destroyed. Yeah. My personal opinion, I feel like, and this is just my tinfoil hat thing with the game, is that Ballas rebuilt Era. Okay, first and foremost, Ballas rebuilt Era, and then assisted Era in building a sentient Warframe for his own personal level of transference, Era's personal level of transference, to have the whole package of having a Warframe coupled with sentient adaptation to truly fight the Warframes. And this is like basically, Caliban is basically like the ultimate version of the way to fight the Tenno. But I think it's in the back pocket, like with the Paracesis and the Shidu, of saying, if this plan fails, then the Tenno are going to have this. So Ballas gives us the Paracesis, which is the sentient slayer, and then Ballas gives us, we get the blueprint for the Shidu, which by the way is a farm and a fucking half, and still like question the usage of it, but whatever. It's not a bad weapon at all, but it's definitely not what I had hoped for. Side by side against the Bubonico, I still say the Bubonico right now beats it, but there's also good things to the Shidu, so take that for as you will. But I think personally Ballas resurrected Era, rebuilt him basically after being destroyed, and then has helped basically build this Caliban Warframe for Era. Okay, hear me out. And if he fails, then we have access to Caliban to go finish off the rest of the sentients, because now we have their tech. So another back pocket move by Ballas, basically. Let Era, basically give Era all the information he needs to build his own Warframe to fight the Tenno. But if they lose, it'll be their downfall. That's just my thoughts. So this is such an interesting ordeal. So December 15th is when I'm going to dig into this quest. I will not be dealing with access with the clan. I will be locking myself down into solo and literally just doing the quest. And no matter what, obviously I'm going to have to finish it once I start it. It's probably going to be a multi-video thing because I have no idea how long this is going to take. But I'm so happy to hear that they're saying hours, because hours means that this is a very, very, very in-depth quest like I was hoping. So, folks, thanks very much for watching this. And as always, we'll catch you in the next one, all right?